Hey guys, good morning. Thought I'd just make another video on the heels of my last video because it kind of goes hand in hand. The last video, and it got a lot of views for such a small channel. I have another YouTube channel that's really big that I get tens of thousands of views, but this one did over 1,000 in just a week or so, which is pretty good for this channel since we only have a couple hundred subscribers or something. And that video, go check it out, was ham radio snobs and sea beers. So this one, I think well, you've already seen it. I'm going to clickbait title it something about the delete. I'm sure you guys have seen that, the whole Doge thing or something. There was a memo going around to cut at the FCC. Delete was the title. And, you know, some guys got, oh, is it going to cut ham radio, this and that? Doesn't look like it from what I've seen, read, and watched. But they are doing some other cuts that I don't believe affect us. But anyways, on to my next controversial video. This might ruffle some feathers, but it'll also bring some cheers. I would like to delete the ARRL. They've just turned into such a horrible organization. I stopped giving them money years ago. They don't do anything for this hobby other than schedule annoying contests, in my opinion, and take money. They're good at taking money and giving you nothing for it. They don't even give you a magazine anymore. It's a joke. Their logbook of the world is a joke. I quit confirming for guys on there. I don't chase paper. I don't care about confirmations, but I do it for you guys. But logbook of the world kept going down. They're so antiquated, they had to send you a password on a postcard. Come on, guys, this ain't 1920. You just send it in an email automatically. I mean, it's so redundant, and they're so behind in the times. It's embarrassing and bad for our hobby, to be honest with you. I've just recently picked back up to do my extra. I did this, I would have passed, and then COVID hit and they shut testing down, and by the time they opened it back up, I had lost interest. But I've been reading the book here, you know, the study guide, and it's stupid. It's so stupid, man. It's so antiquated and outdated and does nothing. All I can think is it's stuffy hams at the ARRL that are just stuck in the 20s and 30s. I mean, it's full of transistors and all this stuff. If you were building radios, nobody really does that anymore. That was relevant at one time back in the 50s, and this material is about from the 1950s. And I think they keep it there because they're a bunch of elitists that want to keep people out of ham radio. They're not doing anything to bring people into ham radio. By the time I've read this whole book, I've gained almost nothing. I'll pass the test. It's just a matter of memorizing answers. In fact, all the prep things like ham radio prep and stuff, in no uncertain terms, they just teach you how to memorize answers and stuff because the material is stupid. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to learn that stuff unless you're into tinkering with old radios, which you guys like to do that. That's cool, man. But the majority of people getting into ham radio, hold on, let me turn that down. I had my radio up. Don't care about that stuff, and it's time wasted. I mean, there's a few things in there that are kind of cool I learned about that were interesting, and they should spend more time on that, more time on operating practices, how the layers work, satellite uplink, stuff like that is actually relevant to today's times, not phase angles and garbage and transistors and capacitors and stuff that most of them aren't even in these new radios. It's all surface mount technology. None of that stuff even applies anymore except the finals. Those are still transistors, but there's no caps, no crap like that in a modern day HF rig. It's a total waste of time just kept in there by whoever's running the ARRL that refuses to get with the times or get off their butt and actually rewrite the material and make it useful to where a guy can benefit from studying. Back when I started, years ago when I got my first license and my general, I thought, well, maybe I need to know this stuff. And I've come to find that 90% of the stuff in those two books are garbage too. They don't benefit ham radio operators. All the it's written in a way to make it so difficult. I think people tap out that they say, I'm not going to learn all this. This is just too much for me. And I think that's what they want, man. They're killing the hobby. They're not growing it. You know, they're elitists. They're the snobs. And other than that, they continue to schedule ridiculous amount of contests on the weekend that wipe out all the bands instead of moving them, 10 meters one weekend, 20 the next, 40. I mean, they just destroy every band except the work bands. And go hide on 17 and 12 and 60 and stuff like that where contesting isn't allowed. But now they got the Parks on the Air guys all over those places, and that shouldn't be allowed because that ain't nothing but a contest too. All it is name, signal report, 5959, thank you, and then CQ Parks on the Air. It's the same over and over. It's just it's another form of a contest. They're searching for as many contacts as they can get in a park. And if you guys like that, I don't care. Fine, cool, go do it. But there's guys like me that like to actually get out there and rag chew and have a good time, and we're more about quality, not quantity. We can actually carry a conversation. I think contesters probably cannot. They're only capable of call sign, location, grid, 5-9, and off to the next one. And if that's your stick, cool, man, that's cool. But the ARRLs definitely don't care about the old guys out there that like to talk. They just they do a contest so the band's filled up, so that they can say, look, we're using the bands, we're using the bands. That's all they care about, so they can collect their money, keep getting their money. They don't care about growing this hobby. They don't do anything to grow the hobby that I know of. Nothing. They don't have a magazine that has anything in it anymore. Nothing. I don't know what they do other than put out outdated material to try to keep people out of the hobby and make the test as difficult as they possibly can. And they're so outdated they can't even hire some young IT guys to get their stinking logbook of the world to work correctly. I gave up. Maybe it's working correctly now. I don't know. About a year ago, I just said, forget it. It crashed and crashed and crashed. I said, I'm not doing this no more. So I haven't transferred anything to there, and I won't, because one, it got frustrating, and two, I just don't want anything to do with the ARRL at all. So I will upload it to QRZ for you guys, because whoever's running that can seem to figure it out. That site never crashes. Imagine that. All right, guys, that's just my opinion on it, and how I feel about it. And I hope maybe the leadership changes at the ARRL and we start doing things to build this hobby that seems to be shrinking, and maybe someday will be gone. And the old guys that are trying to be the gatekeeper to keep any and everybody out, they'll be gone, so they don't care. That's just my thoughts on it. Like I said, this might be a controversial video, but that's just how I feel about it. So other than that, you guys have a great day, man. Hope to hear you out on the air, and thank you for all the compliments and encouragement with the live feeds and stuff. We'll keep doing those. People seem to love that, and I'll keep making videos about ham radio from my perspective. All right, guys, take care. Bye now.